Okay, little microphone guy's moving. So, Hannah, you're my girl. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of other peeps to find this new live. And then I'll go ahead and delete the other one. Oh my goodness. Oh, y'all jumped on quick. Y'all are, oh my goodness. Ah! And you guys, this is the crazy thing, right? I turned off the live stream and I didn't even realize my dryer was going. So the second I turned off the live stream to start a new one, my dryer stopped. And I was like, the universe was just pushing me a little bit so that I could start this at the right time. Because who wants to stop their dryer before their clothes are dry? Everything happens in correct timing, okay? How are you guys doing today? How y'all doing? So you didn't hear me earlier, but what I was saying was I'm super nervous about this because I'm home with my family and I have a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. So we are going to do our best because I want to talk to you guys more. I want to feel a part of this community more, and my kids aren't going anywhere. So let's see. So what I would like to do is talk about the MYC questions from last week, as well as talk about main character energy. So before we even get started, let me know in the comments, what do you think main character energy is? Let me see where we're starting off. I cannot believe this group already has 1.8 thousand members. That is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, authenticity is a big one, but we're going to talk about it in a second. Okay, so last week's question. Oh, because there's not going to be a Sunday video this week. So that's why we're doing this live. And I hope to go live at least once a week, maybe more, because this is really easy and there's no editing. So if you're into it, let me know. Let me know. Okay, so the first question was, identify 2 reasons that it is important to be present. Last week, we were talking about just what it means to be present and how being present changes the quality of your life experience. So let's go ahead and read Raina's answer. Raina, are you in here? Are you in here, boo? Think so. Oh gosh, I see so many familiar names. I swear, y'all. N. Roberts, MVP, Justin. Hey, boo. My day ones. Y'all are, man, I couldn't have more gratitude for you. I really couldn't. Bottom of my heart. Okay, so the question was, I'm everywhere. Identify 2 reasons that it's important to be present. And Raina said 2 reasons why it's important to be present are: being present means focusing only on what is in the here and now, and being in the here and now rids us of anxiety and worries. You know, my life has been really good lately, and I have been focusing on practicing being content instead of constantly chasing, constantly trying to pull my manifestation towards me, which is actually resistance. I have been focusing on seeing what I have already manifested and making sure I am just like going hard with the gratitude, right? And because of that, y'all, my anxiety, it doesn't get so far to the point where it manifests in my body where I start to feel my what's that thing called that controls everything in your body? Your spine. sympathetic nervous system. My sympathetic nervous system does not react. It doesn't go that far yet, but what happens is my brain, the anxiety part of my brain just starts to think about worst case scenarios so quickly, and I'm aware of it. So when it happens, I'm like, this thought doesn't serve me and this thought's not realistic, and I throw it out, but it's still happening. And the quality of being present can help you make sure that when those thoughts come up, when life's going really good and your brain's like, I'm not used to this, let's figure out a way to bring our vibration back down to where we're comfortable. Being present can help you see the crazy things that your mind tries to make you think about so that your vibration doesn't stay as high as you would want it to be. So let's see. Okay. So the second question is, how can one focus their fixation on the future or the past? And then let's go to Myrna for this answer. When we start obsessing about past or being worried about the future, we can do two things. Number one, remind ourselves that everything that happened in the past was meant to happen. Let it be an embarrassing situation or a heartbreak or a traumatic situation. If we still remember something that happened to us long ago, then it has influenced our personality in some way. So, hey, Tochi. Hey, Boo. Thank you so much for the super chat. I love you and I miss you. So guys, that's really, really, really important. We were just talking about how the anxiety part of the brain will make you think about specific things when your vibration's higher than normal, just to try to bring you back to what's normal. Your brain doesn't do it because it hates you. It does it because it's not used to you growing at an accelerated rate. Like if you follow spirituality, if you follow law of attraction, if you follow all this stuff, you're really invested in growth. And our ego is like, what's going on? So when that happens, it's truly, truly, truly okay. But one of the things that your brain might do is bring up all the stuff from the past, all the stuff from the past. And when you are able to remember that everything that has happened to you has made you the you that's watching this live right now, you can't leave anything out. You can't leave any experiences out. Even the ones that you're still emotionally attached to that still hurt, you can't leave those out either. Because every single thing that you've experienced has gotten you to this point right here. Okay? So I try to remind myself of that every day because same, sis, same. When we approach our past memories with some softness, we can give ourselves some slack. We have to remember that all things that we have experienced in the past were meant to happen because it helped us in some way to land where we are in the present moment. And that's where we're supposed to be. We have to acknowledge our past, be grateful for it, and then let it go. Miriam will be killing it with these answers. Number two, to deal with the anxiety of the future, we give ourselves peace when we expect our future to be unknown in a good way. We have to learn how to trust in the unknown. We gotta learn how to trust in the unknown, you guys. We gotta. And affirm, I attract all that is good. Have a belief that the world is your oyster and you will be getting good, pleasant surprises in the future, even if you don't know the future. So here's a manifestation hack. I keep talking about it. The anxiety part of your brain say, okay, well, let's think about this. Okay, well, let's think about this. Let's think about all the ways that life isn't good, even though it is good in this moment. A way to hack that without being your own psychiatrist, and this does fall into the realm of toxic positivity. I'm not going to even lie to you. So it definitely depends on your situation. But if you're not in a situation that you have to really process, if your vibration and your mood's falling just because of your habits, a way to hack that is to just remember that I attract all that is good and focus on shifting your body chemistry to that belief. So what that means is whatever thought you're having, instead of trying to dissect it, instead of trying to pull it apart, just shift to everything that happens to me is for my good. I attract all things that are good. Because that's going to give you some emotional space to deal with the thoughts if you want to, or to just throw that thought away because it's a habit and you don't need to be thinking about it anymore. Only you know the answer to that question, though. Okay. Hey, boo. Okay. And then last question. When we live on autopilot, we are our healthy, true or false? When we live on autopilot, we are our healthiest selves. Explain your answer. I'm going to answer this one. I don't know why I wanted to, but I just wanted to. Autopilot. Let me know in the comments how many years you were on autopilot for. I turned 29 in October, and I was on autopilot for 24 years. 24 years. And I mean, not 24 because you're not on autopilot when you're a kid, because you're most present when you're a child, because you're learning about so much stuff and you want to really learn about what's right in front of your face. So I won't say 23, 24 years, but until the age of 23, 24, your girl was on autopilot. Tochi says she was on autopilot till 25. I definitely think that if you're not raised in a home where spirituality and mental health and emotional intelligence, if those things aren't valued, then how do you even learn how to get off of autopilot, right? 23 years. Yes, ma'am. Yep. And oh my gosh, the teen years, I don't even think that's trauma. I think we're just overwhelmed when we're teenagers, and like some of it's trauma. So, because we all go through a little bit of trauma, right? It's a spectrum how much trauma you've gone through. But when we're teenagers, we're just trying to put it all together. So there's not really a lot of mental space for cognitive thought unless you have a parent who's like, talk to me about everything that you're going through and let me assist you through it, which if you do, that's great. But a lot of us don't, which is where the autopilot comes from. 36 years. Hey, some people pass away and never spend one moment of their lives present. So if you're here right now, you're already winning. You're already winning, because being present is the key to manifesting. Being present is the key to being able to implement. You can watch all these videos till kingdom come. You can watch all my videos, you can watch all of anybody else's videos, and that's all fine and dandy. But if you don't learn how to be present, you won't learn how to implement everything that you're learning. You have to hear your mind when it's starting to do the stuff that self-sabotages you and say, I will make a different choice. But the only way to do that, so listen. 25 years. Yep. That's the reason I'm studying psychology. Man, psychiatrist, psychology. Y'all are the real ones. Seriously, I feel like spirituality and a good therapist, living your best life. Oh, thank you, Audrey. So sweet. So, no, when you are on autopilot, you are not living your best life. That is false. When you're on autopilot, you are just automating your behaviors, the things you think, the things you say, in a way that will keep you in the same place that you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, and it's kind of like your brain's running a program to keep you in that same place, and your spirit is not involved. And honestly, I was getting my nails done yesterday, and I was talking to my nail tech, and the place where I go to get my nails done, the two girls who run it, they're both entrepreneurs. And we were talking about jealousy that can happen when you are discussing your life with people who aren't entrepreneurs. And I'm not saying that anyone who works a 9 to 5 is automatically jealous of an entrepreneur, but there are a lot of people who have big dreams, but because they're on autopilot, they feel this longing, they feel this want, but they don't know what it is because they're not connected, they're not in tune to what they're currently thinking and what they currently want. So because of that, when they come into contact with people who are actively pursuing their dreams, that's where jealousy comes from. That's where resentment comes from. But the person isn't actually jealous. They're not actually resentful. They're frustrated with themselves. So again, being present can help you realize an abundance of things about yourself. This is not a dress rehearsal. Put it on a shirt. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff. The point of today's video. I love being on live with y'all. The vibes. Um, Myrna, did you leave a comment a few days ago and possibly delete it? Possibly. It was about watching anime. Someone left a comment in the group about watching anime and loving the world of the show and feeling like they want to fantasize about that being their life, that being their life. Does anyone know the comment that I am talking about? Because it does not seem to be here anymore. Hmm. Okay, well. Oh, mama, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll try to, if you want to rephrase the question, you totally can. Or I'll try to remember what you had said, because when I read it, I was like, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. I love anime. Okay, wait. Because I haven't watched a lot. I don't want to be one of those people. I'm one of those people who loves Dragon Ball Z, grew up on Dragon Ball Z. But of course, Sailor Moon. And then as far as like new stuff, I have to ask Adam. Kokugari, I think that's how you say her name. We've been watching that and I like it. Yeah, but I don't really know it's anime anymore because like now Netflix has its own produced anime, and I'm just like, if it's not Japanese, then it's just animation. Afro Samurai, yes. Samurai Champloo, I used to love that one. Fooly Cooly. I haven't been as obsessed with anime as I was when I was in college, which was Toonami, all that good stuff. College, high school. But it was amazing. Autopilot and ambivalence are twins. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so let's talk about it. So Myrna left a comment a few days ago talking about just how she enjoys anime and how she enjoys watching specific shows because she can see herself in those universes. And I am not, y'all know I'm not on TikTok. I think I'm a little bit, I don't want to say too old, but I'm not on TikTok. But one thing that I do notice a lot on TikTok is people talking about shifting into these realities like the Harry Potter reality and just different fantastical realities. And I do not think it's a bad thing at all. One thing that I really do like about anime is that, and I'm talking about Japanese anime, one thing that I actually do like about anime is that a lot of Far Eastern religion, a lot of those concepts are in the storylines. For example, Dragon Ball Z is all about what you got going on inside, manifesting on the outside. It's all about your mental strength and honestly, whether you're being a petty Betty or whether you're really here to be the best version of yourself. Like that's the whole dynamic between Goku and Vegeta, right? And what I love about that and bringing it back into this conversation is that when it comes to your life, the life that you're living, the reality that you have right now, if it doesn't seem as vibrant, if it doesn't seem as fun as these shows that we're watching, we have the ability to learn how to make our lives as fun. Now, I'm not going to say that it's the easiest thing because I went to school for theater. So I've embodied main character energy my whole life. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but when I was 4, I used to do the Martin Luther King speech all over New York in like Brooklyn, Manhattan, different colleges. I did it at the Apollo. Pretty cool stuff. So I've had a really strong idea of main character energy my whole life. And also I feel like when you grow up in places like New York, California, big cities, you have main character energy because you're raised to only see what you got going on. You can't look at the next person or else you'll get robbed or miss the bus or something. You gotta focus on you. So main character energy is something that has always come very naturally to me. But I find that those who struggle with main character energy, and I can also say this from personal experience, those who struggle with main character energy are the caretakers, right? You guys know my mom's disabled. So even though she worked to make me have main character energy and like really be focused on myself and how I grow and how I move throughout life, a big part of my childhood was spent caring for her. So as I got older, became very difficult to just see me separate from her. And of course, I guess we could say there are two spectrums. There are the caretakers and then there are the people pleasers, right? So if you're a caretaker, it can be difficult for you to focus on your life and see yourself as the main character because you're worried about how that's going to affect your loved ones. It feels selfish. But then if you're a people pleaser, it can be difficult to be the main character because you look to others to define who the main character should be. So I think that those are possibly the two most popular um, ways that we become distracted from main character energy. I am an only child technically, but we adopted my sister when I was 19. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Can I call you Is? Oh, you guys are so sweet. Hold on, let me read these for a little bit. I am the Beyonce of my life. Yes, yes. Especially if you nanny for the same family for an extended amount of time, you will be caring about those kids like they're yours, and they're not. That's a perfect example. Okay. Somebody just said in the comments, I'm a nanny and I feel this so much. And that is a perfect example. I was a nanny too in college. If you're with a family for too long, you start to see those children as your family. But on paper, and to those kids' parents, you are an employee. So the roles, right? We're talking about a script. We're talking about a movie. We're talking about roles. The roles have gotten confused because of emotions. Because we have spent so much time with these children, we feel one role, but their parents are like, that ain't it, boo. And the parents can love you as much as anything, but at the end of the day, when you're a nanny, you're not their parent, even though you feel so connected and invested in them as little tiny human people. That's a perfect example because at the end of the day, when we're talking about main character energy, we are talking about having the deepest understanding of ourselves and then making that a priority above everything else. And one thing that I tell my husband all the time is that you have to be good first. If you're not good, if you don't feel connected to yourself, if you don't feel like you're being your best self, you will not be your best self for your family. You will not be your best self for your children. You will not be your best self for me. So a lot of times when we begin to feel that guilt for pursuing a main character lifestyle, we must remember that if we pursue this main character lifestyle, we will show up for the people we love with more energy. Our cup will be more full. Okay, that fear of being selfish is just a lower vibrational concept that's trying to keep you where you were. And we can expand past that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Yes. Sorry, I got it. You guys aren't going to be able to see the. Also, if you're watching this later, not a live stream, welcome. Meant to say that at the beginning. My bad. Okay, so Aquarian T says, for me, I didn't get to participate in school functions, sports at school, because I had to walk to pick up my little brother from the babysitter and take care of him till one of my parents came home. Let's talk about that. Sports. Sports and theater are wonderful ways to learn how to embody that main character energy. So if you do that when you're younger, you learn to focus on your growth in the sport, right? Because you're competing. You want to, not in a bad way, but you want to do your best. You want to bring everything you got. That quality of wanting to bring everything you got to show up as your full self is main character energy. Not worrying about the next person, not being afraid of being your full self, because being your full self is going to get you that medal, it's going to get you that gold. But in real life, in adult life, there is no physical trophy. There are no physical medals, but showing up as your full self and your best self, despite those around you, is going to give you the prize of having a fully authentic life. If you're not living for yourself as number one, at some point you are not being completely true to your own perspective. And this is a spectrum, right? So this can be in a huge way or this could be in a small way. I didn't watch her video. I saw the thumbnail for it and it brought all these thoughts up. I do not know the YouTuber's name, but she makes these wonderful videos and she just came out with a video that said shopping for houses with main character energy. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but it made all these thoughts come up. I'm gonna get to these comments in 1 second. It made all these thoughts come up. And it's like, I felt such a shift because you guys know I'm looking for a house right now. I felt such a shift because I was like, looking for a house with main character energy does not mean that you are looking for the biggest, most expensive house. If that's what you like, then yeah, that's what you're looking for. But that's not what it means. For a while, the houses that I was looking at, we're renting, we're not buying. So I was just like, hey, if there's space, we're gonna be good. And I was being very passive about it. And I realized that it was because I had the belief that I'm not gonna find a house that actually I'll love. But then when I saw that thumbnail, shopping for a house with main character energy, my whole perspective shifted. It's like, I looked for different things. I wasn't looking for the perfect house. I was looking for the house that was perfect for me. And I was able to revisit this idea with, again, more authenticity, not having this idea of what the perfect house was, but genuinely looking at houses that had aspects that were perfect for me. Main character energy. I'm going to get to these comments. Let's see. I'm so glad that this is resonating. Family trauma. Okay, so family trauma is the worst, but it makes you. It makes you. And I am big on forgiveness. And that being said, I still haven't forgiven my biological father. My biological father bounced when my mom got pregnant. I never met him. I have 8 half brothers and sisters that I do not know. Maybe I shouldn't put that on the internet, but maybe I should. Hey, if you're my half brother or sister, hola. But I have not forgiven my dad completely, or I don't even call him my dad, the person who contributed to my life. That being said, I do revisit thinking about him every day to see where I am. And if I feel any emotional things come up, I try to approach that with a softness and then drop the thought and come back to it another day. So family stuff is difficult. But if I didn't experience that with my biological father, I wouldn't I wouldn't be doing YouTube. Not having a dad in my life when I was very young contributed to a lot of insecurity, a lot of emotional turmoil. And as I got older, I realized that the majority of my female friends did not have dads in their lives. And I could see how we were all tripping because of that in our personal choices. Not saying that moms don't do everything that they can, but when you don't have that masculine energy in your life as a person with predominantly feminine energy, then you can get so deep into the world of toxic femininity where nothing is solid, nothing is set in stone, and instead you're just everywhere. Nothing's holding you down. You're not grounded. So that is one of the big things that inspired me to start my YouTube. So if it wasn't for my father, I would not have had the ability to have this passion that I have for the videos that I make. So family stuff is the worst. But the more that you approach it with the intention to forgive, I'm not telling you to forgive today because that is easier said than done. But if you approach it with the intention to forgive, if you say, I want to forgive, then you can start to see what those family members really meant to your life experience. And y'all know, just because I say forgive somebody, don't mean you got to be up under them. That is not what I'm saying. Say it louder for my ego in the back. I cannot. Mm, okay, so let's talk about main character energy. Like, really talk about it. Now that we've talked about like what can hold us back from it, let's really talk about it. So, if you are not accustomed to waking up as if it's the beginning of your movie, I'm gonna tell you right now, practicing this is going to feel pretty cheesy. It's gonna feel pretty cheesy and pretty extra. And when you feel that cheesiness, I just want you to know that that's how uncomfortable you are with making yourself the focus of your energy and the focus of your own thought process, making yourself the focal point. When you're just like, oh, this is too much, I don't want to think about myself in this way, that's because you are resisting being the star of your own mental movie. So I think one of the best ways to implement main character energy into your life is with how you wake up. The second you open your eyes, is it, oh, I'm rolling out of bed, I'm doing my best? Or can you hear the metaphorical soundtrack start playing? Like, is that gratitude for a new day in your heart as you wake up? Do you take your time getting out of bed, almost like you see in the movies where like they do the cinematic stretch and like they throw their legs over the side of the bed and put their feet in the slippers? I'm not saying you have to do all that, of course not, but that's intentional. Taking the time to stretch in the morning is intentional. Taking the time to really make sure that your feet are on the ground before you get out of bed is living with intention. It's not just being on autopilot and getting through the moment. Because the thing about movies is movies have about 90 minutes to blow your mind. Every minute counts. So if we approach our lives with that logic, every minute has goodness in it, man, it's over. It's over. The things that you will attract into your life, if you approach everything with main character energy, is wild. But this also means that you have to define the movie that you're in, right? You're not in a tragedy, right? Maybe you're in a rom-com. Maybe you are in the next big girl boss flick. Like, you can decide what your movie's about. But decide what your movie's about, decide the energy of your movie, and then you stick to that. One of my favorite things to do when my vibration is dropping and tanking during the day is dancing, because it makes me feel like I'm bringing everything back to me. It makes me feel like no one's ever going to see this movie, but it makes me feel like the cameras are swirling around and we are capturing a real moment of my life where I am truly happy and I'm truly embodying myself. I'm going to read some comments because this is a very interesting topic, and I want to make sure that I'm answering any questions that may come up. I love this topic. Everyone who grew up without a dad, I love you, and you're doing great. I love you, and you're doing great. People tend to fill up their empty spaces with emotions, the great ones that fill themselves with love, and it takes a lot of time and strength to learn how to do it. You better speak. You better speak. It does take a lot of time and strength. Well, I'm gonna tweak that. It does take a lot of time, but I want to say that it takes a lot of time because it's a constant evolution. Learning how to be the person who is not controlled by anger, frustration, fear, doubt, that takes time, but not in a bad way. You can decide right now, I'm not controlled by the negative emotions attached to me and others. You can decide that right now. But I think where a lot of people fumble is they feel like because they've decided it, their brains automatically changed. When in reality, when you decide something, you can still only see that you can only see that decision from your current perspective. So if I say right here, okay, I'm not going to hate anybody anymore, no matter what they've done to me. I'm going to be full of love. Even though you were full of hate the day before, that's going to be a different perspective than you 100 days later practicing fully loving people for 100 days. There's an evolution in perspective that you have to let happen. You cannot be mad at yourself for backsliding. You cannot be mad at yourself for not completely grasping the concept. You have to try to grasp the concept. And as you're grasping it, being present, as you're grasping it, paying attention to everything going on around you. Because your answers are in everything going on around you. Everything that is happening, everything that we manifest is a reflection of what we got going on up here. So when we change our mindset, if we stay aware of everything going on around us, we are able to check in with our brain, see what our mind is doing to evolve, and notice how we are evolving. So that way it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm really not changing. I'm the same person I was. You're not. You're not the same person that you were. But it just may not feel like as big of a shift because you're shifting little by little every single day. Mm. Mm. You guys are the bendy bunch, man. The bendy bunch. A movie called 222. I'm gonna look into that. Yes, 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 yes. Wow. So it's like a door opening really slowly, the new perspective through the crack, and the whole embodiment more and more as the door opens. What a beautiful metaphor. Yes, we expect. That's such a beautiful metaphor. I'm so hyped. Okay, so we expect for our new perspective to just pop up in front of us. When in reality, when we decide that we're taking on a new perspective, that's just placing the hand on the doorknob, right? But we got to turn the doorknob. We got to open the door. And then slowly this whole new perspective reveals itself. But we have to evolve into it. Don't resist the evolution. Don't be mad at yourself for not being this changed person the next day. It's a process, man. I felt floaty all my life and never really correlated it to not having a dad growing up. Girl. And like, I love my mama. I love my mama with all my heart, and she did great. She did great. But the thing about masculine energy in your life when you're a child is masculine energy is sets the boundaries. Okay, so the masculine energy is like the creek. It's like the earth in the creek, and then the feminine energy is like the water that flows through the creek. And when you have that as a child, it's so much easier to know your own boundaries and then take boundaries with you as you grow up and get older. But if you're not introduced to that when you're very young, it can be kind of difficult to understand your boundaries as you're older. And if you don't have boundaries, you're everywhere. You're everywhere. And like the people pleasing, man, the people pleasing, it'll just drag you everywhere, and it will make it very difficult for you to embody that main character energy. Because I even think that talking about main character energy, I believe we all know this. Oh my gosh, I have like congestion. One second. Excuse me. I believe we all know this. Each of us possess a different level of masculine and feminine energy. And just because you're biologically a woman doesn't mean that you're 100% feminine energy. That's not how it works. We all have a balance. So that being said, when we talk about masculine energy, or when we talk about main character energy, there's an assertiveness there, right? Even when I think about being in school, the act of auditioning for a part and saying, I'm here to get this part. I don't care about 90 other people saying they want the same thing. I'm here for this. There is a aspect of masculine energy within that. So I think that also if you have a difficult time embodying this whole concept of main character energy, I would also check to see if you're just uncomfortable with being assertive. If you're uncomfortable with saying, this is my life and I choose to live it for me. Oh. No, no panic attacks. I love you. Mhm. Okay. Daisy asked, hey, I have a question. How do I forgive the mistakes I have done in the past because of this guilt? Something inside of me tells me that I don't deserve happiness. How do I get rid of this? So, coming back to the present moment. I'm so sorry. I gotta wipe my nose. Okay. Sorry about that. So you have guilt for something you did in the past. When you come into the present moment, the reason why the present moment is so important is because it disconnects you from your ego. We haven't talked about this on the channel in a long time, so I'm really happy that we can talk about this right now. Um, when you disconnect from your ego, you are able to be one with this life experience. I know it sounds so woo woo, but let me continue to try to explain. So, the part of you that's disappointed in yourself for what you did in the past, that's your ego. Because another person could have done the same exact thing to someone else and feel nothing, right? You feel bad because your identity identifies what you did as a bad thing. So when we come to the present moment, when we connect to the breath, when we connect to what we're seeing, when we connect to what we're hearing, that identity fades away and you're just being. By learning how to just be through meditation, it becomes easier and easier to detach from that emotion that your ego is so determined to make you feel. Because if you did something so long ago and you still are, I'm not trying to read you. I'm not trying to read you. But if you did something a long time ago and you still see yourself as the same person, then that is how your mind is trying to keep you in the same place. Your mind is telling you, I don't deserve happiness because I can't grow. I haven't changed. And that's not true at all. But it's just how your ego is defining it. So if you're unable to detach from those emotions, I would definitely say practice more meditation and practice more disconnecting from the ego and learning how to find the present moment truly. Oh my goodness, y'all are going off. Y'all are going off. People make it seem like it's an overnight process. Girl, that's clickbait. Like, I do it too. You guys know I do it too. How to manifest in 24 hours. Like, I can give you the keys to how to set up your thought process, but that's the 24-hour part. How to set up your new thought process. Implementing it is different for everybody. Yes. Yes. I've noticed in my experience recently that being floaty is correlated to my anxiety and a way to flee the present moment. You guys, so much stuff with my biological father has been coming up lately. A year ago, I would not have been comfortable talking about him on the channel, but it's all good. But so much stuff has been coming up about him, and I've been realizing that I have small behaviors that are a manifestation of this belief that I'm going to lose the things that I love most. And it's going to be because of me. And that's directly attached to my dad leaving and me not being able to do anything about it. And I'm almost 29 and I never connected the two. So that's anxiety, right? If you don't know why you feel that way, and then you get a boyfriend or you get a job that you really love, and then you have anxiety every day about losing this thing that you love so much because dad left a while ago, that is this, you haven't defined that this anxiety is from your dad leaving. You don't know where it's from. And that can contribute to not being able to feel grounded. Yes, it's the lack of masculine energy, but it's also the lack of stability, the lack of knowing that half of your biology is there for you, is proud of you, wants you, you know? Um, and all of that can lead to so many different things. I read a book called, I talk about it all the time. Maybe I talked about it in the private group. Did I talk to you guys about It Didn't Start With You? It's a book about generational trauma. Mm, yes. You need to put yourself first always. That's where the mojo lives. Yes, chocolate sugar, you know what's up. But this book, it didn't start with you. This was probably the book that gave me the most permission to be the main character in my story because this book allows you to break down your trauma, your parents' trauma, your grandparents' trauma. The whole book is a trigger. I'm gonna warn you right now. The whole book is a trigger. This book does not hold your hand. Um, but by the time I was done with it, I was so done with being a victim with all the stuff that I'd experienced. And I was just ready to let it go. And it felt so good. And letting all that stuff go allowed me to focus on the life that I have today and move forward. The book is called It Didn't Start With You, and it's by Mark Wallen. Yeah, I can't say his name. So good. Mm, man, but the craziest thing about having to end friendships and having to end romantic relationships, guys, I'm gonna make you so now. This whole thing is turning into a thing about parents, but guys, when we attract friends and when we attract partners that aren't equally yoked to us, a lot of times it's our mommy and our daddy issues showing up in our friendships and our romantic relationships. I'm just saying, I just want to let you guys know. I'm just giving that to you. I'm just giving it to you. So, falling out with people, it never feels good. But sometimes the pain's a little deeper because it's a pain that you've dealt with before. It's a pain that's in you biologically because you've dealt with it before. Seth Speaks. I know who that is. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so many people have been talking to me about like falling out with their friends. What's going on? It's like springtime and everyone wants to just make sure their relationships are in order. I support that. Oh yes, let's get these book recommendations up in here. How can I take a stand in front of my father? I love stuff like this. Always ask me questions like this. How can I take a stand in front of my father? Main character energy means that, okay, let me back up. I'm all about ease, right? Last year, when I got pregnant, I was just like, I'm tired of my life being a struggle. I'm tired of struggling. I only attract ease. I'm not about to be out here with my blood pressure here, my attitude here. I'm all about ease. So, bringing it back to how do we stand up to people? How do we stop people pleasing? There is a way to be your own main character without openly offending another person. But you can only do that if you've worked on cultivating that energy. So let's say that you want to stand up to a parent about something that, you know, something that's making you and your parent beef. One perspective is to be nervous about it. Have in your mind, oh, well, my parent has paid for this. They've done this for me. They've been alive longer than me, so they have more experience. Like, but they're just making me so mad. So I'm just going to talk to them about this. You see how everything I just said had to do with the parent? So that's one side. Or you can come from another perspective, which is, well, this is my perspective, and this is how I feel about it. And I choose this perspective because it helps my life in this way. Those are two different places to be coming from. And the latter has to do with you. When your mindset revolves around you, when you are the sun, you don't become so flustered and terrified to explain your side to others because you have a grounded knowing that you know what's right for you. But that doesn't come from the conversation with the other person. That's something that you have to cultivate within yourself first. When we don't put ourselves first, we end up with an attitude. I'm telling you, passive aggression. Passive aggression. Thank you, Marie David. Oh, yeah, people had to go. Yes, exactly. Serona says because we were just talking about how like everyone's getting their relationships in order because the world is splitting and we're seeing people elevating or not. Exactly. Exactly. The past year and a half, we have been, everybody has been put in a position where they have a choice. Do I move forward or do I cling on to the past and what I think the future should be? Because everything's unknown right now, right? And I think that that's where a big part of this um, community depression came from regarding the sickness. That's what all these YouTubers are calling it. So I'll jump on the train. But eventually, some people made a choice. Some people said, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I have faith that all good things come to me and I'm going to continue to live. And then others made the choice to say, I do not have faith in the future. So I'm going to cling on to everything that I possibly can from the past because that's what I know and that's what keeps me safe. This sermon is spicy. I love you. Oh, MacBook Arc. That's a blessing though. You have two job offers and they want me to be best at both in training, but it's affecting my mental health. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about law of attraction. I don't know if I've talked about law of attraction this whole time, but if you are stressed about how others see you right now, in 10 years, you're going to be stressed about how others see you right now. Um, at some point, you have to make the decision to say, okay, back up. We've been talking a lot about identity. So at some point, you have to make the decision to say, I am the type of person who is not controlled by what others think of me. You have to say that. It might not be true yet, but you have to say that. And then as because they will, I promise you they will. When as situations come up to test you, you said you don't care. You said you don't care what people think about you. Well, let's see. When situations come up, that's your opportunity every single time to practice what you preach, to walk the talk. And at the beginning, the decisions that you're making while you're learning to walk the talk are going to seem so drastically different from the decisions that you would normally gravitate to. But baby, that's the shift, right? That's the identity shift. But the more that you start to lean into the decisions that the you that you want to be would make, the easier it becomes to make those decisions. It actually starts to happen by itself. But at the beginning, you have to make conscious choices. And I don't want to say it's hard, but the choices are not the choices that you would naturally gravitate towards. Just randomly pulled up YouTube before asking for a salary increase, and this came up. Main character needs main character compensation. When I am scared, it's a perfect time to be brave. You better ask for all that money. You better ask for all that money. Add a zero, add a comma. I agree because I've had some issues with my own father, and especially with me being gay and Black. I am still learning that I have knowledge and that I am a love spirit. Religious trauma is ugh. Okay, so like I said, I'm from New York. And about 10, 15, God, 10 to 15 years ago, I moved down here. And my mama wanted to join a church. So we joined our first Southern Black church. And I tell you, what an experience. What an experience. Like, I am not prejudiced against anyone because like when you grow up in New York, like everyone's just everybody. Like you don't learn to look at people, and like I said, you're very just focused on yourself. So when I moved down here and I saw that so many people put so much energy into the lives of others, especially in churches where there's this entitlement, like I own a Bible so I can tell you what to do. It's just wild. It's wild to me. I'm so sorry that you went through that. Um, I hope that my videos are helping you understand that, or not understand, but helping you remember that you are perfect in every way. Literally nothing is wrong with you. Not a single little thing, nothing is wrong with you. You are perfect in every way. And if anything happens to you that does not align with that concept, it don't matter. It don't matter. Okay, let's see. Religious trauma is something else. You guys, we could talk about it forever. We could talk about it forever. Oh, I'm so excited to script and manifest, but I feel so unmotivated and procrastinate so much, even though I want to change. Is that a block or something? I don't want to not do the things. It is a block. Like I said a couple minutes ago, excuse me for this, one moment. I thought it was going to be bigger than that. Hold on. No, it's not. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, when you are changing, when you're shifting into the identity that you want to be, that means that you are going to make some decisions that do not feel like they are the right decisions. Of course, your soul will know it. For example, working out. You know you need to go work out, but it doesn't feel like you should. So kind of like that. The decisions won't necessarily feel like they are the right decision at the time, but that's just your ego trying to keep you in the same position. So the only thing to do to solve that is to do it. Is to do it. Your body scripting is a manifestation of your mind saying, I'm going to do this. So the only way to do it is to sit down and do it. I wish that religious trauma was talked about more. I live in a religious country, unfortunately, and I'm leaning on manifestation for a miracle. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you so much love. I could talk about religious trauma forever. Forever. I went to Catholic school in New York, and that was a whole different experience. But no matter what, I feel like across the board, so many people use religion as a way to like boost their own ego and completely ignore the emotions and the psyches of others, when in reality I feel like religion is just a guidebook and we all choose the guidebook that we like best, but it's just a guidebook. I don't know, I think that just goes a little too hard. Some people just go a little too hard. um Let's see. I'm just now joining. Can you do a quick recap? Yeah, babe. Yeah, square pants. We are talking about main character energy and how to shift your perspective to comfortably being able to be the center of your own universe, the center of your own attention. Yes. Yes. I love you guys so much. Do we have any more questions? I can't believe it's almost been an hour. Wild. Man, man, I'm from New York too. When I hear others talk about how much influence their state's culture have, I can't really relate. New Yorkers are just so focused on themselves. I like it that way. Same, same, because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Thank you for the super chat, Audrey. You're a sweetie pie. Oh. Same could go for race and racism. I mean, how can you feel like the main character when you believe other people always have power over you? Guys, you guys, I gotta tell you a secret. It might be a lie, but I'm gonna write a book eventually. And the book is going to be called The Freedom Vibration. And I think I've talked about this very casually in other videos, but it's my life purpose. This book is my life purpose because I have been obsessed with understanding what is the freedom vibration. Because, oh no, we've already been here for an hour. Oh God. Okay, we'll talk about this another time. Remember, freedom vibration, I will put it as the title. But if you are the ancestor, or if your ancestors were enslaved, right? And in theory, every trauma that your ancestors have gone through were passed down to you through different lineages, if the trauma wasn't corrected at some point, then wouldn't that mean that we have a difficult time embodying, as Black people, the full spectrum of the vibration of truly being free? Not because it's our fault as individuals, but just based on the different habits and the different ways that we learn to protect ourselves, right? So I want to talk about that because it manifests in so many different ways, whether that's the inability to relax, like the inability to just sit and be relaxed, the inability to believe that good things happen, the inability to understand the power of wealth and understand the power of your own wealth. Like it comes, the way you see yourself and your beauty, like it comes in so many different ways. And I feel like together, if we focus on peace, if we focus on self-love, if we focus on personal power and understanding that nobody is above us because every man is created equal, if we focus on those things, we can truly get to the freedom vibration. And that can lead to a person having any type of life that they want. Because what's most frustrating for me is to see my people decide that they don't want to fully commit to what they want because of all the blocks, because of all the times that life has told them it's not possible. That is why I'm brown and bendy. But I haven't started this book yet. So I'm just all talk right now. I'm all talk. Audrey, did you ask a question? I'm happy to ask a question. I answer a question. What's up? Yes, the freedom vibration will apply to any person who has experienced prejudice and who has experienced being identified as a person who is lower. Now, that being said, I'm writing it specifically for the not ancestors. What's it called? What are we? Descendants. I'm writing it for the descendants of people whose ancestors have been kidnapped from their original land, taken to a new place, and enslaved for 200 to 300 years, and then given additional hurdles. Because I feel like the Black experience is very significant. I don't feel like anybody's a bigger victim, and I don't even feel like as Black people we are victims, because I don't accept that. I'm not a victim. But that being said, our situation is very specific, which means that we have very specific ways to overcome it, but we can overcome it. I love it here too. I love you. Descendants. Thank you, Bluebird. Like Neville said, it's all in the self-concept. There was an African-American man who said race held him back, but he changed his self-concept and didn't believe or accept race. Okay, well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this real quick, and then I'm going to hop off. I'm going to give you guys something to chew on for a little bit. So, I personally do not accept that idea that there's no such thing as race. Stay with me. Collective consciousness. Every single person in the world has a consciousness, right? And together, we have a collective consciousness. This is why we can't escape racism. This is why we can't escape the sickness. This is why we can't escape sexism and all of the things, because just because I raise my consciousness doesn't mean that this portion of people are raising their consciousness. That's why we can't manifest things for the entire world, right? So that being said, I do not know why there is suffering. So I can't answer that. That's still something that I'm studying and I'm working on trying to figure out and understand. But I do believe that our experience as Black people in America, our experience, healing from our experience, raises our consciousness so much because the suffering has been so intense. When you go from that type of suffering to the enlightenment that we're all capable of as a group of people who have suffered for so long, that brings the collective consciousness up so high. And then on the other end of that, the reason why it frustrates me so much when non-people of color say there's no such thing as race, or you made this about race, or things like that, is because if a person who hasn't experienced what I have experienced, what my ancestors have experienced, if they are able to truly sit with the emotions and the heaviness that comes with our experience, that expands their ability to feel empathy. And what does that do? It raises the collective consciousness. And I have a strong feeling that that's the point of a lot of this life experience, is to raise the collective consciousness, because it is our responsibility to make heaven on earth for ourselves first. Right? We make heaven on earth for ourselves first. But after we've gotten a good hold on that, I do feel like it's our responsibility to influence others to create their own heaven on earth, because that is the only way we are going to solve the big problems. We can't solve the big problems one person at a time. We have to go by the collective. Oh, you guys are just amazing. Girl, you preaching this morning, aren't you? Girl, listen, you guys should see me editing my videos. It's so much talking. And I'm just like, this needs to be 20 minutes. I don't know what to do. Kitty LaRue, love the name. What is that from? Says personal power, unlearning and learning your position in your life are the keys to breaking religious trauma as well as forgiveness. It works for me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. These comments are like, oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Y'all gonna have me on here for 2 hours. No, you're not. I gotta go. Do you guys want to see the baby? I'm gonna show you the baby in a little bit. Owning Purpose says most Black people are honestly scared of tapping into their own power within. Depending on white religion that never belonged to Black people is, I think, the one thing that brought me awareness. Yes, definitely. Studying other religions that aren't about literally just finding stillness, because there's not a lot of stillness. Well, no, that's not true. Be still and know that I am God. So there is stillness in Christianity, but I feel like that's not focused on. Studying other religions definitely was a big start of my mental expansion. But I want to talk about the first thing you said. Most Black people are honestly scared of tapping into their own power within. Let's talk about psychology in this book, okay? Let's say that my great, no, there aren't that many greats. Slavery was not that long ago. Let's say that my great grandfather was trying to escape from a plantation, practiced his personal power, got caught, was punished to the point where it traumatized him so bad that it changed his life. And that was passed down to his kids, and I passed that down to his kids, and so on and so forth. Doesn't that so clearly show us where this fear of holding on to our personal power comes from? It doesn't come from me in this lifetime. It comes from generations of being punished for honing my personal power. That being said, a person can have a bodily response. Someone left a comment on a video the other day saying that whenever they try to change their perspective, they get physically sick. It can be that deep. It can be in your body. But that being said, as long as we define where we want to move to, what we want to be, we are able to take the mental steps to change how we see ourselves and our identity. I just think that it is so freeing. I think it's so freeing to remember that a lot of this constraint, a lot of the restrictions that we feel are the effects of generational trauma. They're not necessarily physically real. And that was a big thing for me to understand and learn, but it led to the most beautiful awakening of me being proud of my Black identity. Oh my God, I love y'all so much. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Babe, can you bring the baby? I don't know if you heard me. I would love to brainstorm with you on my spiritual journey. I have so much mind-blowing theories. Hey, you guys want me to go live more? This was fun. This was fun, right? Hey, I have a kid. I got a 3-year-old. Hey, say hi, people. Hi, people. I'll take the baby. Is she asleep?
No, she's chilling.
Hi, people. Hi, people. I can hear you.
They don't have microphones. They're talking over here.
He's getting ready for this concert.
People.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
People.
Make some noise.
Go with Daddy to get sister. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I love you guys. I'm gonna go get the baby so I can give you guys some baby vibes to take with you. Because baby's just, I don't know about y'all, but baby's in my vibration all the way up. My pumpkin. Hey, mama. What's up? I know, this is a lot, huh? Yeah. Is it fun? Yeah, is it fun? Oh. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Pumpkin pie. Oh, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for coming onto this live with me. If you enjoyed this live, I'm about to end it. Leave a comment and say, girl, you better do this again. So I know how many people are like really into it. Yeah. And I will see you on another live very soon. Can you say bye-bye, Libby Lou? Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye. Oh, sweet girl. Oh, sweet girl. She usually has the biggest smile, but she's like, what is going on? What is going on? All right. I adore you guys. I adore you guys. Can you, you see your brother?
No, my sister.
Yes, it is your sister. All right, you guys. I will see you next time. I love you. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.